Hi, Courtney here. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So I decided to do something very daring for me because I don't even go out of the house without makeup. I decided to shoot this video completely without makeup. And so I have very blonde eyelashes. So if you're used to seeing me with makeup on, you know my eyelashes are very long, but they're very white. And so yeah, this is me. And so I wanted to do this video. I was inspired by Matt Diavella. I hope I'm saying his name right. He did a video. I'm sorry, I just got tickled. One of my donkeys is running across the field. They're so cute. He did a video on 10 things he wished he had known when he was 20, and I am 48. So I thought I would do a video, and these are I believe I have 11 things that I wish I had known 20 years ago, and I want to share that with you. And I thought, I wanted to do this all day. I wrote this morning. I've been working out. I didn't have to go anywhere. I'm not going to put makeup on to do this. This is me, and it goes along with what I'm trying to tell you. So the first thing I wish I had known 20 years ago when I was 28 years old and before was that you need to budget your time and your money. And that's been a slow learning process for me. It's something that is kind of ingrained in me naturally. But as I've gotten older and better at it, I have learned very well to budget my time and my money. And so if you want to know what someone's priorities are, you want to look at their checkbook and their calendar, and if they're actually doing what they say they're going to do. And so when you are making your priorities, make sure that your priorities match with what your values are. Number 2 is under promise and over deliver. And so I'll give an example of this. Let's say that you have a company and you do window cleaning, and you tell someone you're going to be there on Tuesday, but you've promised 3 people that you're doing the windows on Tuesday because you think that you will have enough time. And historically, it's very challenging for you to get more than 1 or 2 houses done a day if, on a normal day. So what you do is you always under promise. So you might plan on doing 1 per day and letting people know if something changes in my schedule and I can come early, I will call you. However, don't expect me to be there for a week or only schedule 1 per week, because being on time and being dependable is far more valuable than having a lot of business and then making mistakes and losing that business over time. And so the other thing is in relationships, if you tell someone you're going to do something, you need to follow through with what you're going to do. I've learned this as I've raised 4 kids, like don't tell them you're going to do something if you can't do it. I struggle with this sometimes because I get excited and I want to do things for my grown children, and then I will realize that I may be enabling. So that's the area where I still struggle with this. And so you have to be very careful about what you promise people. Learn resourcefulness. And so I just wrote, live below your means, save, pay cash, and quality by quality over quantity. So learning to be resourceful, you've heard me say it a million times in my videos. I was raised by Depression era grandparents. I feel like if I have a home, food, and my bills are paid and I have money in the bank, I'm happy with that. I am easily happy. Most of my hobbies are inexpensive. I have purposefully lived my life doing things that are not expensive to do. I love to cook. I love to read. I like to thrift shop. I don't have expensive hobbies, and I live well below my means, and that has helped me very much to feel secure. Nobody gives a damn. Their opinions don't matter. That's one of the reasons that I decided to do this without makeup. Nobody cares. I mean, I think people would rather see me without makeup than with makeup every time. Nobody cares what you're wearing or what you're driving, as long as you're presentable and you're socially aware of how you dress, and that you're neat and tidy. Beyond that, people don't really notice. I've just noticed, my friend was here for a week, and she lives 4 hours away, and she drove down here and had some things to do, and she left the bulk of her clothes at home. She drove off and left her clothes. And she had a few things packed in a bag, but most of her stuff was hanging. And she was just telling me that she's going to do a blog post on minimalism because she made it an entire week with multiple appointments with only like 3 outfits. And they weren't even whole outfits. Like she had a couple of shirts and a couple of pairs of leggings, like a pair of leggings and a pair of pants. And, you know, the thing is, no one notices and no one really cares. She even went so far, and this is a person who used to would have just gone into the store and bought a sweater. And to be honest, I probably would have done that too. But like me, she knows that if she walked into the store, she probably would have walked out with more than a sweater. So she went into a coffee shop and she had a little blanket in her car and she took it in and wrapped up in it to do her work instead of going and spending money on a sweater. Being resourceful just means learning to do with what you have and not wasting money just because you have money to spend. You're going to always have money for a rainy day. The fourth thing is, or that was number 4. And no, I'm sorry. The fourth thing was that I said learn to be resourceful. Nobody gives a damn. That was number 4. And that most people I know that are miserable in their life, and believe me, because this is my hobby, I don't do it for a living, I have counseled a lot of people on finances. And it is the people who are trying to keep up, and they're not necessarily bad people or arrogant or egotistical. They're just doing what they think is normal. You know, having a newer car, living in a bigger house, you know, just doing and living life the way that we've been taught to live by mainstream America, by what we see on TV, what we've seen modeled to us. And honestly, the people I know that are the most miserable are the people who are trying to care about what other people think about them. And so it doesn't matter. We all want validation and love, but beyond that, most people they're not really paying attention to what you're doing. They're more worried about themselves. Number 5 is start organic and grow. And by that, I don't mean organic food. I mean, anytime you're building something from scratch, it's always better to start small and grow large. I had a real forgive me, I don't mean to offend anybody if this hurts your feelings, but the only way I know how to say it is I had to have it come to Jesus meeting with myself this week. I have saved up to build a cabin, and I purchased 4 cabin plans, and they were all about 600 square feet, and they all came in over budget. I had to cut the house plan down to 400 square feet. And this is a cabin that I'm building for my son who has a disability and is moving home with us. And he needs a place to live. He's an adult and he needs a place outside of our house to live. So I had to scratch it and go back to what I knew I could afford and what I knew would be in budget. And it was hard because it meant really cutting back a lot. And in my life, like in my business that I owned, I started with $1,400. Back then I did use a credit card, but I never borrowed money again. I grew that business to nearly $100,000 in gross revenue a year. And, you know, I never borrowed money. I did use a credit card, but I paid it off monthly for the business just for accounting purposes. And one thing I've learned in my life is anytime I think, like for instance with the cabin, oh, it'll all work out, I can figure it out, I'll figure out how to pay that bill, it never does. It is never a good plan. If I go into feeling a little sketchy about it, or feeling that I might not be able to afford it, or it might be more than I can chew, I always regret it. So it was a hard decision. Even my husband said, you know, I'll pick up some extra work, I'll pay the difference. I said, no, my budget was $20,000 and we're going to do this for $20,000. So we have actually cut the budget quite a lot, and that worked out. Number 6 is be kind even in the face of adversity. I gave an example here of being flipped off on the highway, and I blew a kiss to the person. Is it passive aggressive? Maybe, but people don't expect it. You know, if you have someone that says something hateful to you, yesterday someone dialed me and I just sent the little "may I call you later," and they're like, who is this? Like it was the message even sounded catty, and I was gonna say if they were rude back, like, well, you have a nice day. You know, my grandmother used to say, kill them with kindness, and I think a lot of people have taken that, you know, I'm so sweet and so kind that I must be easy to run over. But I do believe that if you react kindly to someone, even if they're being a jerk, you can be firm and kind. We have a saying in the Al Anon, which is a group I go to that is supportive of people who've grown up in addiction or have addiction in their life at some point, that mean what you say, but don't be mean. And sometimes that's hard. To be quite truthful, my husband and I had a little rift tonight. And, I made his plate of dinner and he just walked out and didn't eat it. And I just thought, fine, I'll just put it all away. But I thought, no, I'm going to I made his plate. I'm just going to put it in the microwave and I'm not going to be mean. Because sometimes we want to be mean, but sometimes being nice is actually the best thing that you can do, and it actually works in your favor. So, all right, and I don't mean to let yourself be bullied. This is going to be a long video, I know. Number 7 is you have the power to change your mind. Oh my gosh. Little Southern girl here, 34 years old, Oprah's on TV. I am in a marriage that is miserable, not now, back then. And even though we had a little tiff, and I mentioned it on here, my marriage is fine. We have our disagreements like anybody. But I remember Oprah coming on the TV, and I'm 34 years old. I have 3 kids at the time. I hadn't adopted Felicia yet. And Oprah says, you have the power to change your mind. And it blew my mind. I never thought that I had the power to change my mind. I had been raised to be dependable and responsible, and you do what you say and you say what you mean. And I believe that. I believe you should be a person of your word. But if you find yourself in a situation that is bad or uncomfortable or it's not working for you any longer, you are in control of your life and no one else. So remember that you have the power to change your mind. Number 8, love doesn't mean that you should stay with someone. And, I've had times in my life where I loved someone and I could not be with them. That could be a friend, that could be a lover, that could be someone, anybody. If you find that someone has completely different morals and values than you, they live a different lifestyle, it doesn't match. Maybe you're a stay-at-home kind of person and they like to party, or maybe they're a spendthrift and you're a saver to the point that it just couldn't mesh. That happens a lot in marriages, but to the extremes. If they don't have the same values raising kids, or there's just no compromise, then sometimes you just have to walk away, and you have to accept that you can love someone and care about someone and not be in a relationship with them. And as hard as that can be, it's hard to accept. And I think it's just something that we have to learn that exists in the world. I think there are a lot of people who love other people who know that it's just not healthy to be together. Number 9 is listen to that inner voice. Follow your inner voice. If you hear your consciousness speaking to you and telling you something, don't ignore it. And I don't mean negative stuff. If your inner voice says, you need to get out of here, this is not good, like you need to stop with one drink, or you really shouldn't be spending that money, or this relationship is going nowhere, and that's something that is a consistent, you need to listen to that voice. I know that in past relationships before I was married to my husband now, who is an angel, just despite the fact that we've had a disagreement tonight, he is an angel. But in past relationships, I would feel like something was wrong, and years later, I would find out that that person was having an affair, or there was something going on behind my back. So I've never been a jealous person to just try to find things out or whatever. But most of the time, if I had a gut feeling about something, it was right. And I don't mean just if you're a jealous person and you think something, if there are red flags. Number 10 is let go of controlling others. You have to figure out, and this is kind of piggybacking, but I teach this as a stress management specialist, your fingers back. You cannot control beyond here. You can only control yourself. And one of the issues with my husband tonight was he had promised me he was going to do some things, and he kept putting them off and putting them off. At the end of the day, I can get mad. I can tell him how I feel. I can tell him my expectation, but I can't make him do it. And I know that. And I have to decide how much of that I'm willing to put up with. But we cannot change people. We cannot make people do things we don't want them to do. And sometimes we just have to accept that we're going to have to figure that out for ourselves. And so you have to figure out that how much control you really have. And the other thing is, I deal with this previously in my life. I've never been a jealous person, but in the early days, I worried a lot on, I've had a lot of relationships where people have been unfaithful, but I was talking to a loved one today about this who has a lot of insecurity, and I was telling her, if someone cheats on you, would you want to be with them anyway? I mean, if someone cheats on you, it's not your fault. It's a choice that they made, and you want to move on. You don't want to be with that person. Don't waste your relationship worrying about that person cheating on you. Have a good time. Enjoy your relationship. Be comfortable in your own skin. If they cheat on you, they're going to cheat on you, and you're going to find out eventually, and you'll get out. We just don't have any control over that at all. So figuring out how much control you really have. Number 11 is what you put in your body has more impact than what you put on it. So I'm watching so many people, because I work in cancer care and cardiac care, and then people around me in my own family and friends. Sugar, fat, processed foods, those all tear down collagen. I don't touch sugar. I don't eat sugar at all. I don't eat processed food hardly ever, unless it's like a can of marinara sauce or something like that. So what you put in your body and what you feed your body has more of an impact on how your health is, how your skin looks, how your hair looks, and how healthy you're going to be and how good you're going to look than what you put on your body. For instance, putting moisturizer with chemicals on your body every night probably isn't as good as drinking water and taking your vitamin E, or eating a healthy diet, or even eating your healthy oils and fats. That has more impact on the quality of your skin than slathering chemical-laden moisturizer on your skin. The foods you eat can act as natural sunscreen. I want to say watermelon and bananas. The vitamin A from the vegetables you eat have more impact on the beauty of your skin than putting any kind of $100 cream on your face. And it actually could be causing more harm because of all the chemicals. Number 12 is exercise is not about one goal. It's about quality of life. So I know a lot of people who exercise until they're in pain and they cause themselves injury. That studies have shown that moderate, consistent exercise is the best thing for you. I've been all over the place with exercise in my life, and one thing I know is there's just walking and a little bit of gentle yoga is not enough for me. I need some moderate strength training and cardio, about 150 to 180 minutes a week. That's about 30 minutes a day, y'all. 30 minutes, 5 to 7 days a week. You need to exercise. I give myself 2 days off a week, and I try to get in extra whenever I can. But moderate exercise it's going to keep the quality of your life. Just like eating good food and sleeping, exercise should just be part of your normal routine to keep you healthy. It is as important as drinking water or eating healthy, or just having a good attitude. So that's it, guys. That's all I have. But those are the 12 things I wish I would have known 20 years ago. And to some extent I did. I've been taking good care of myself ever since. But you have perspective when you're older, and it changes things a lot. So thanks for being here with me today on this video. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.